Good morning, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. This video clip was taken from two sources, and in both cases, this is Governor Gwen speaking to Department of Health, IATF, all those big shots from Manila. I'm really impressed by how Governor Gwen handles herself and how she handles Cebu. It's really embarrassing when you look at Duque. He's sliding, almost going under the table. Nang liliit sa kahihiyan. I hope that's the right Tagalog term for it. But it's really a shame that we have government people like this. But the initial clip that I'm going to show you, the audio is not that great because Governor Gwen was not speaking in front of the mic and she was talking on top of her voice, talking to these people, almost talking down at them. Not exactly talking down at them because she's very polite. She has a good way of delivering her speech. The second part is going to be a clearer one, a more relaxed one. The first one, she's yelling on top of her voice again because she does not have the microphone. So let's listen to it, and periodically I will give you my comments.
You bring people to the hospital, though they may have figured in a motor vehicle accident, they are told COVID na lang para wala nang bayaran. I was the first to insist in an executive order that all of them arriving here in Cebu would be subjected to a 14-day quarantine in the hotels at their expense. I was questioned then. I was told by someone from the national government saying, "Well, you're too strict. You be careful with your protocols. You're going beyond what we're doing." And I said, "Okay, I'll take the fall of it. I am trying to protect Cebu. Everyone should be blamed. Blaming. Why? Because at that time, we had no figures, we had no data. We were up against not only an unseen enemy, it was unknown as well. And then because I am governor of Cebu, I took it upon myself to study, to be updated with what was happening in all of our 44 towns and 6 component cities every day. I was given a rundown on the number of positive cases, how many were critical, how many were moderate, how many were severe, and how many were asymptomatic. I practically memorized the figures every day and said, "One must we know that," because I made a daily report to all Cebuanos on the COVID situation.
I really like Governor Gwen's style of management. She does not rule from the ivory tower. She puts her boots on the ground, talk to people, get feedback, find out what's going on. Whereas our IATF, Department of Health, they rule from the ivory tower. They analyze data. They plug them in models. They don't know what's happening on the ground. They do not, because they're seeing numbers here and there. Whereas Governor Gwen, as you will see here, she goes around talking to people. She also looks at data, of course. And then she draws her own conclusion. Let's continue.
First of all, for and in behalf of the province of Cebu and the Cebuanos, allow me to thank Secretary Duque, together with our other honorable secretaries, for coming over to this special session called for by our provincial board. So let me tell you, after I had studied and restudied, after I had listened as much as I could, I came upon the conclusion that economic lockdowns were not the answer. As I went around the province, let me tell you, while others chose to hide, I chose to risk myself and go around all of our towns and cities to see for myself what was really happening on the ground. And I saw the suffering. Businesses closed. Jobs were lost. Livelihoods were lost. People were hungry. And I told our mayors, do we have enough funds? Are we now going to spend all of our resources to buy rice and canned goods to keep people begging us for food because they no longer could not purchase a kilo of rice? We don't have enough resources. I made that bold decision a year ago when we reopened tourism. We went around. We started when the province of Cebu was finally granted MGCQ status where tourism would be allowed. And so we started going around. Since July of last year. For Cebu City, probably MGCQ status has been on 10 months because they went back to MECQ. But the province of Cebu was never put on MECQ. Even when cases were rising in the city of Cebu, we were able to manage COVID-19. And so for the province of Cebu, we've been on MGCQ status for almost a year now. That, in spite of having opened the economy again, going to our towns, to our cities in the province, will show you an economy that is slowly starting to recover. I speak as one who is tasked to look after the welfare of millions of Cebuanos. If it were left to me alone and my family, I'd probably have decided otherwise. And I would have luxuriated in the comfort of my home, lest I be infected with the dreaded COVID-19. But you see, we are more than ordinary people. We are tasked with a duty to serve those that trusted in us. We are the elected officials of this province. And that is probably why all congressmen in the province of Cebu, practically all towns and cities in the province of Cebu, passed resolutions urging the IATF to accept the Cebu Protocol. Because we interact with the people. We listen to their plea. We know how much they are suffering. And we cannot turn a blind eye to just consider them as data and statistics. I deeply respect the models and analysis of Dr. Silvania. Being the technical advisors with such impressive resumes, I know that you take it upon yourselves with a deep sense of responsibility that the safety of Filipinos must be guaranteed and should be paramount. There was an attempt to ask the HRAC whether they are in fact following all protocols, and the expected answer came. However, reality is, from the meetings that I had conducted with the HRAC, and as admitted, they cannot always monitor these OFWs and ROFs because they lack hotel staff. I asked, do you change linens or towels within the 10-day isolation period? The answer was, well, for budget hotels, no. For the better hotels, they take out the linen and the towels, put it outside the door. They leave the clean linen outside the door too, and it's the OFW or ROF that changes the linen. Theoretically. PNP personnel that are assigned in hotels are doing exactly that. They're outside the hotels. I have had numerous statements from those that actually had to undergo this hotel isolation time, where OFWs would congregate in the rooms of other OFWs. I asked the same question. Those that were present in the meeting will confirm this. How do your staff control congregation of OFWs and ROFs? And the answer was, we can only speak through the loudspeaker because we cannot approach them. We can only monitor them on CCTV cameras. Policy is great, but that must be translated into actual reality. So my question is, if there were indeed, with all due respect to Secretary Galvez, all of these numerous regulations that we should be imposing upon hotels that are not, I'm sorry to say, that are not actually, religiously, rigidly followed, can we not impose the same regulations in our barangays, with our BHERTs, where we have PNP personnel distributed throughout all of our towns and cities? What makes a hotel room far safer and more hygienic than the strict protocols that I had defined? Executive Order number 5, February 3, 2020, as regards home quarantine. I was the first to define what home quarantine should be all about. When Executive Order number 17 was implemented on March 31st, that was when our cases started to decrease. Why? It's logic. It's simple. It doesn't even need some model or scientific analysis. When OFWs reach the hotel, they interact with hotel staff. They interact with chambermaids and all others who go home to their families. And these have not yet been tested. When these hotel staff go home to their families, they could possibly already have been infected. And so, the great infection game continues. Allow us to be able to face them and say, we are accountable to you. We will serve you with our utmost best. Mabuhay ang Sugbo. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas.
I remember when I was in college, one of the most important lesson I learned was said in few words. My instructor, my professor, I can't remember who now, who told me this, said, "You guys are going to be graduating from college. You have your heads up high, you're so proud, and you think you know it all. But remember what I'm going to tell you. College does not give you all the knowledge. College only gives you the ability to learn. When you start in a workforce, you will continually learn. Because you have a college degree, you will learn faster than someone who did not go to college. But everything you will learn is not from school, it's from the real world. That stuck in my mind. And that was the main thing that drove me to success myself. As I told you before in my other vlog, when I went to a trucking company and I had no experience in trucking environment, I even asked the president of the company, "Why are you hiring me? I don't have any trucking experience." And he said to me, "That's an asset." The trucking industry was deregulated, so now they're going to be operating in an unregulated environment. They do not want somebody who is so used to a regulated operation. They want somebody who knew absolutely nothing about trucking business, because he wants this person to ask all the right questions. Why do you have to do that? Just because it was done in the past. You don't have to do it that way. Let's see, what is the reasoning? Can we do it in a different way? He wants fresh ideas to come in, not trained ideas. The problem we have with IATF and Department of Health is that these people are, nice credentials, nice degrees, and they think they're the king. That is a problem. That's the mistake they're making. They need to know what's going on. They need to put their own boots on the ground and stop dictating when they don't know what is happening on the ground. Some people also say, well, no, we'll not worry about the economy. We will worry only about the medical because that is our job. In fact, I heard that also here from Dr. Fauci. Be that as it may, maybe it's not his job, but then it's somebody else's job, meaning the president, who should listen to technical advice, medical, scientific, and look at the economic impact on all this. Because I can't remember who said this, but they said the solution cannot be more expensive than the problem. If you have a big problem here, If you don't solve it, you're going to lose money, but don't come up with a solution that will cause you to lose more money. I'm talking money, not necessarily lives. For example, here we're talking about lives. We're trying to save people from this virus because they will die. But what happens? They come up with a solution. They die of something else. They die of starvation. They die of frustration from staying at home. These are issues. For example, I'm not a technical person and I'm not a scientist, so I don't know what is the good thing about this face shield, right? Face shield. But all I know is I'm not aware of many countries who uses face shield. Nobody even uses face shield anymore. In the US, not that the US is the best, okay? But in the US, we were only required to wear mask. And if you have a condition that you cannot wear a mask, then you're allowed not to wear a mask, but use face shield instead. And there were very, very few people who had both. But I could hardly see anyone. Okay, so now we still have these things. It appears that they may be, what they're doing may be right from a technical standpoint, but from an overall practical standpoint, they fail. Give it an F. So that's just my opinion. You're entitled to yours. And please do share this with others. I was really entertained when I was listening to this. I had to cut the video clips shorter and only highlighted the ones that I considered relevant. Oh, by the way, I did not mention about how the quarantine hotels are being managed or not being managed. Can you imagine? They think you are infected. They think you are contagious. They put you in a hotel. But what do they do in the hotel? Unsanitary condition, unmonitored. Wow, they have security guards outside. They have police. They have PNP outside. Military, just like in China. They practically want to close your door and lock it, nail it down so that you guys cannot get out. We're getting close to that, in my view. But look at what is happening. They just let you right there. In fact, you may not be infected when you arrive to the Philippines, and when you get to the hotel, you get infected. Why? Because it's unmanaged. Now, shouldn't they be managing that instead of just managing the people? I'm talking about the entry of foreigners from overseas. I cannot believe this government. I can't believe what's going on. I can't believe all the lockdowns. MCQs, GCQs, barbecues, Qs. Too much show. Not enough substance. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please do share this with others, and I'll appreciate it if you could click like. Do subscribe to my channel unless you have already done so. And please don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thank you. God bless. Make it a great day.